Hi there. Other than perhaps the Lao People's Democratic Republic, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or DPRK, is one of the most difficult modern socialist states to really effectively study. Much of the available literature from the Western press is built either entirely off of baseless assumptions that only serve to perpetuate ignorance, or they're built off of building a narrative of absurdity regarding the politics and culture of socialist Korea. Other popular sources in the West are the testimonies and writings of defectors from the DPRK. As we're all aware, though, the claims made by defectors such as Jymee Park, for example, are often dubious. Does that necessarily mean that nothing bad has ever happened in the DPRK that wasn't a direct result of Western aggression? No, but claims such as people having to eat grass and rat meat, along with having to manually push trains to get from one place to another, among other wild claims, should definitely invoke, at the very least, some healthy skepticism. So, my goal for this video is to provide people with some better sources, or at least means of finding sources that aren't skewed by an anti-communist bias and that don't parrot the absolutely batshit crazy stuff like Kim Jong-Un executing his uncle by throwing him in a piranha pit or other tabloid nonsense. Now, quickly before I go on, I would just like to remind everybody that if you would like to support me in the channel, you can check out my Buy Me a Coffee page. You can do a one-time donation for as little as $1, or if you would like access to certain perks, you can sign up for the $5 monthly membership. If you want to be a part of the membership, if you are part of that, you unlock perks such as having your name listed in the description or the video itself as a means of a thank you, and being sent an exclusive list of recommended readings ranging from blog posts to academic articles every month. Now, onto the video. To begin, one that I recommend people check out is the collection of articles available on the Kim Il-sung University website. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of articles about the history of the DPRK and contemporary issues, ranging from analyzing Juche and the writings of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-Il, Japanese imperialism, language, science, the environment, and so much more. If you want to take these articles with a grain of salt, because they do come from Kim Il-sung University, a university in the DPRK, I do understand why somebody would do that. But a lot of these articles are good for strengthening your understanding of the DPRK's development and responses to imperialist aggression from, generally speaking, regular people, albeit in an academic format. I've used a couple articles from the university for at least one of the papers that I did in college, for instance, so they're definitely worth looking into. Next is the Korean Friendship Association. I've primarily seen articles from the US and the UK branches of the KFA, but other branches have also posted valuable articles. If you know who Dr. Dermot Hudson is, he is one of the more prominent members of the association and has written numerous books and articles about the history and culture of the DPRK. The Korean Friendship Association likewise posts articles about culture, politics, the economy, infrastructure, and other vital information for studying the development of socialist Korea in its various industries and sectors of daily life. Every tanky has talked about going to the DPRK at one point or another. I know I would like to, if not for learning more about Korean culture and the DPRK's history and the experience of actually being in a socialist country. Just the shock value of telling my students that I've been to North Korea and seeing their reactions would make the whole trip worth it. Where am I going with this exactly? There are a series of tours provided by an agency called the Young Pioneer Tours that goes to the DPRK for various events, such as the mass games or for the celebration of Kim Il-sung's birthday. Young Pioneer Tours has a blog with articles about their travels to socialist Korea along with other destinations that they've gone to in the past. There's also an agency called Visit North Korea with a very useful blog for information about the DPRK that often goes uncovered in most of the Western media. I believe this agency is basically the precursor to the Young Pioneer Tours, so the two are definitely intertwined in some form. I've used blog posts from Visit North Korea to help me learn more about how the economy and production and all that such stuff functions in the DPRK. Articles from either website are good for studying. This is a piece that I actually own a physical copy of, but it's also available for free on Marxist.org. Louise Strong was a journalist who traveled throughout the world studying and reporting on the development of various socialist countries, most notably the Soviet Union and Mao-era China. One of her more underrated works, at least to me, is her Eyewitness report on the northern half of the Korean peninsula during the time between World War II and the Korean War. I consider this piece to be vital in understanding how Korea became divided, partially as a byproduct of the conflict between the United States and the Soviet Union. This piece very clearly lays out how the northern half of the peninsula, controlled primarily by Kim Il-sung with developmental aid from the Soviets, aimed to build genuine prosperity for the Korean people after decades of facing Japanese colonialism. On top of that, Strong discusses how the southern half, controlled by the US and a US-backed puppet government, only sought to expand Western capitalist hegemony and further colonialist control over Korea as a whole. There's a lot more that I'm probably forgetting off the top of my head, but Louise Strong's report is essential reading. So those are just a few sources that you can look into to help further your understanding of the DPRK. If you enjoy what I do, maybe consider subscribing and sharing my videos with your friends. Maybe you could consider contributing to my Buy Me a Coffee. Regardless of all that, just be sure to check out the sources and the collections of sources provided in the description. My name is Jymee. Thank you for watching.